Manchester United's famed training ground Carrington has become a hive of activity and innovation as Ruben Amorim unveils a series of tactical adjustments ahead of their crucial match against Viktoria Plzeň. The air is thick with anticipation as players old and new adapt to the manager's visionary plans, aiming to translate their training ground chemistry into a dominant display on match day. Ten Hag, known for his meticulous approach, has focused on bolstering United's defensive structure while simultaneously fine-tuning their attacking transitions. Emphasis has been placed on quick ball recoveries, precise passing sequences and exploiting spaces on the flanks, a strategy aimed at breaking down Viktoria Plzeň's defensive resilience. These changes are designed to maximise United's pace and technical superiority. Standout performers in training. The recent sessions at Carrington have highlighted the progress of several key players. Zarkizé, the emerging academy star, has showcased his versatility and composure, earning praise from the coaching staff. His sharp movements and decision-making are poised to surprise opponents. Matthijs de Ligt, a pillar of strength in defence, has brought leadership and tactical awareness to United's backline. His ability to anticipate and neutralise threats is expected to be a key asset. Alejandro Garnacho, the dynamic winger, has been in scintillating form. With his electric pace, pinpoint crossing and eye for goal, he could prove to be the game-changer United needs. Amorim's influence. Now, assistant coach Ruben Amorim has been instrumental in these preparations, bringing his unique tactical insights to complement Ruben Amorim's vision. His focus on situational drills and set-piece strategies has been lauded for its effectiveness in sharpening the team's edge. A squad united. The players are buying into the manager's philosophy, and the camaraderie within the squad is evident. Training sessions have been described as intense yet enjoyable, with a shared sense of purpose driving the team forward. As the countdown to the Viktoria Plzeň clash continues, the question on every fan's mind is whether these innovations will translate into another memorable performance. With Carrington buzzing and the squad firing on all cylinders, expectations are high for Manchester United to deliver under the lights. Lisandro Martinez raised his hands in disbelief and slapped the net. Andre Onana stood motionless. The blame for Nottingham Forest's decisive goal on Saturday was shared between the pair. It felt like Martinez was more at fault than his goalkeeper, who had already made a blunder. Manchester United defended terribly against Nottingham Forest, and Martinez passively allowing the ball to slip past him and into the side netting was a huge mistake. Matthijs de Ligt and Andre Onana could probably have done more to stop Chris Wood's looping header at the source, but Martinez's misjudgment was bizarre and indicative of his current form. Martinez hasn't looked the same player this season. He's certainly not the only member of the dressing room who is guilty of underperforming, but his drop-off has been noticeable. Sometimes fans don't want to accept one of their favourite players is struggling, but there seems to be growing concern around Martinez's form and performances this term. Martinez was outstanding in his first season. He made a mockery of pundits' comments about his height, he became an immediate fan favourite, and his defending, along with his ability to pass through the lines to initiate attacks, was a huge asset in a memorable campaign. The problem is that season ended 18 months ago and players are judged on current levels. Rashness has crept into Martinez's game. He has increasingly jumped into tackles and mistimed challenges, and his distribution from the back has worsened, which has impacted build-up play. The data confirms what everybody has been watching. When comparing this season to 2022-23, Martinez averages 2 fewer long passes attempted per 90 minutes and averages more sideways and backwards passes, which shows he's not being as brave when in possession of the ball. Put simply, Martinez's passing isn't as good. The 26-year-old is also not as adventurous, and when you combine that with some of his defending, it paints a picture of an out-of-form player. Martinez has struggled with a few injuries in the last year and a half, and he has failed to reach the levels he showed before picking up a metatarsal injury in the spring of 2023. The best version of Martinez probably hasn't been seen since he picked up that foot issue against Sevilla in the Europa League. There have still been some strong performances from Martinez along the way, but he set a high benchmark in his first year and will be judged against that. United are 13th in the Premier League and are collectively underperforming. There are issues for Ruben Amorim to address, but he needs his most talented players to get back to their best. Martinez is one of the finest defenders in the league when he's at his best, and hopefully he can get back to his previous levels ahead of a challenging, busy winter schedule. United are set to play Manchester City, Tottenham, Newcastle, Liverpool and Arsenal in the next month, and it would make Amorim's life a lot easier if Martinez can start to perform again. Although Martinez is still adored by supporters, you can't live off the success of one season, and he needs to remind critics why fans created a banner for him after just a few months. The butcher needs to sharpen his blade and get back to his best sooner rather than later. Just like the Glazers, Ratcliffe was sung by Manchester United fans 8 days ago. Ratcliffe was the target of vitriolic chanting as supporters protested higher ticket prices before facing Everton, which confirmed his honeymoon period as co-owner was over. There were green and yellow flares set off and anti-Glazer banners raised. Unfortunately, Ratcliffe seems to have more in common with the Glazer family than was initially thought, and it wouldn't be a complete surprise if he took a page from their playbook to replace Dan Ashworth. United waited 4 months for Ashworth to begin work at Old Trafford because he had to serve a period of gardening leave, but he spent just 5 months as the club's sporting director. United released a statement on Sunday and said Dan Ashworth will be leaving his role as sporting director of Manchester United by mutual agreement. We would like to thank Dan for his work and support during a transitional period for the club and wish him well for the future. Club sources have claimed the decision was made collaboratively following a period of transition, but it's thought Ineos instigated the decision to end Ashworth's contract. The decision has been described as very difficult for both parties, and United reiterated Ashworth has conducted himself with integrity and decency throughout his time at the club. Ratcliffe is believed to be recording fly-on-the-wall footage at United with a view to releasing a documentary on the club's rebuild down the line, and it should make for compelling viewing if the circumstances that led to Ashworth's departure are ever brought to light on screen. It seems inevitable any potential documentary would gloss over Ashworth's departure, though. The parting of ways is not a good look for Ineos, and it will be fascinating to see whether they appoint a replacement, promote from within, or disseminate Ashworth's former responsibilities. A club source was mute when the search for a successor was mentioned on Sunday morning, and making the correct decision this time after botching Ashworth's appointment is crucial. So who are the names to be aware of? While United search for a successor, or decide if they want to hire one, Omar Barada's CEO and Jason Wilcox, technical director, are set to assume more responsibility, and perhaps Christopher Vivell, interim director of recruitment, will be given a permanent role after making a strong impression since being appointed by Ineos in July. Former Chelsea technical director Vivell has a contract until February and will remain in his role until then, with the possibility he then takes up the position on a permanent basis. Ashworth's responsibilities could be absorbed by Barada, Wilcox and Vivell, but it seems more likely a permanent successor will be appointed given Ratcliffe's best in-class mantra. If Ratcliffe promoted someone from within the club or made staff absorb responsibilities, that would be cost-effective and very Glazer-esque. The Glazers promoted Ed Woodward and subsequently Richard Arnold to powerful positions, and they favoured staff they knew. It would be a huge red flag if Ratcliffe adopted the same approach. So hopefully there is due diligence underway, and a list of candidates to replace Ashworth has already been made. Paul Mitchell, who is from Greater Manchester, was linked to the job before joining Newcastle, and Dougie Freedman is the bookmaker's favourite. PSG sporting director Luis Campos is also set to be available as there is a rift in Paris, and his contract expires at the end of the season. Ashworth was Ratcliffe's prime target for the inaugural sporting director role, and where the British billionaire turns next remains to be seen, but he cannot make another mistake. Ahmad has revealed what Bruno Fernandes told him after Manchester United's 4-0 win over Everton earlier this month. The Ivorian has enjoyed a new lease of life under Ruben Amorim after struggling for game time under Erik ten Hag. Ahmad has thrived so far under the Portuguese, having featured heavily in Amorim's 3-4-3 system. The 22-year-old has provided 4 assists so far under the former Sporting boss whilst playing as a right-sided midfielder. One moment some fans spotted earlier this month was a conversation he had with Fernandes on the pitch after United's comprehensive win over the Toffees. The winger-turned-midfielder has now revealed details about the conversation with the United captain. He told me some things to improve during games and asked me to be more focused towards the end of the game because that's when you see the champions, Ahmad told Sky Sport Italia. I am so happy to have Bruno as my teammate here. He speaks Italian, so we have a special bond. Ahmad has also opened up on the position Amorim plays him in, whilst offering praise for the new United boss. He added, "We try to follow the coach's philosophy. He speaks to the players. He was a footballer himself, so he understands our feelings, and we are happy to have him," he added. "I always try to repay the coach's trust. We've been on good terms since he arrived. He's always tried to help me, especially because I am playing a new role. It's a position I already covered at Atalanta under Gasperini, but it was more towards the middle. This wing-back position is kind of new to me. I try to do it and the coach is helping me. I am enjoying every moment. Manchester United winger Antony has found an unlikely fan in the Romanian Prime Minister Marcel Ciolacu after a bizarre compilation video was posted onto TikTok. In the video on Ciolacu's official TikTok account, the political leader is seen being shown a picture of Antony, and he correctly names the forward before cutting into a compilation video that highlights the forward's best bits at United. Most of the footage is restricted to his time in the United squad in his debut season, including the now infamous moment when he spun around on the spot under no pressure during the victory over Sheriff Tiraspol in the Europa League. The exact reason Ciolacu chose to post this video on his TikTok account is unclear. However, the 57-year-old has posted football-related content on the social media platform previously, mainly surrounding the Romanian national team. In November, Ciolacu told the media that politics had no place in sport after Kosovo chose to leave the field on 90+5 minutes during their clash with Romania in Bucharest, leading to the Nations League fixture being cancelled. Antony may well be grateful for the support from an unlikely source after a difficult run at Old Trafford. The Brazilian has dropped down the pecking order this campaign, despite promising the press in the summer that he would be back among the goals this season. Under Ruben Amorim, Antony has been moved into a left wing-back role, but he is currently behind the likes of Ahmad and Tyrell Malacia in the squad. Ruben Amorim, Manchester United's newly appointed manager, has continued to shape his tactical vision a crucial phase of their Premier League fixture against Nottingham Forest, with key updates on player injuries and return dates, during a December 6th training session at Carrington. The Portuguese coach, known for his innovative approach, has begun implementing significant changes to boost the team's performance and adapt to their demanding winter schedule. Formation shift. Amorim emphasised his preferred 3-4-3 system, which he successfully used at Sporting Lisbon. This setup involves high pressing, swift ball movement, and a reliance on attacking wing-backs to maintain defensive balance while creating offensive opportunities. Luke Shaw is being prepared for a role as a left-sided centre-back. This change aims to leverage Shaw's defensive skills while minimising the physical toll of a full wing-back role Antony has been experimented with as a right wing-back. This positional switch could rejuvenate his form, allowing him to contribute defensively and exploit space on the flanks. During counter-attacks, player engagement. Amorim actively participated in the session, offering one-on-one guidance to key players like Kobbie Mainoo. This reflects his commitment to developing a cohesive team identity and ensuring every player understands their role. Intensity and focus. The training session was characterised by high energy, with players involved in rapid, competitive drills that mirror the fast-paced nature of Premier League games. Amorim's hands-on involvement reinforced his philosophy of hard work and tactical discipline. Amorim's proactive adjustments come as the club sits mid-table in the Premier League, aiming to bridge the gap to the top four. His innovative training approach and positional experiments are pivotal as United prepare for their next fixtures, including challenging encounters against top-tier rivals. The upcoming matches will test whether these training ground changes translate into improved performances on the pitch. This session has set the tone for an exciting new chapter under Amorim's leadership at Manchester United.